A Tigray military-backed TPLF-backed group is taking control of more and more areas in a neighboring regional state. Secondly, an Ethiopian airline flight could not land at an airport in a regional state today. What happened? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching. Good to be with you. Let's have a look at a new story about an Ethiopian airline flight which today could not land at an airport in Ethiopia. What happened? Well, an Ethiopian airline flight this morning, passenger flight, this morning, I think it was a passenger flight, but it was an Ethiopian airline flight, passenger or cargo. But it flew from Addis Ababa, the capital. It was destined for Asosa airport in Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. But during its course, during the flight towards Asosa, it was diverted. It could not land at the airport. What happened? You know that Asosa is very sensitive these days, keeping in view that allegedly Ethiopia is conducting drone strikes and airstrikes in Sudan from Asosa and Bahir Dar airports. Sudanese military in statements leveled direct allegations against Ethiopia that in recent months drones flew from Asosa and Bahir Dar airports and conducted strikes in Khartoum and other parts of Sudan in support of rapid support for Ethiopia. Denied, but yes, the drones are being launched from Asosa airport in Benishangul and Bahir Dar airport in Amhara in support of rapid support force against Sudanese military. And Sudanese military conducted drone strikes in and near Asosa over a month ago. So what happened? Why couldn't the Ethiopian airline flight land at Asosa airport? Either there was some issue with the communications. Last time, if you remember, a flight from Addis Ababa could not land at Mekelle airport because of the spoofing and jamming operations being tested, which were being tested by Tigray military. In Sudan too, you know that Sudanese military, RSF, both are using jamming and spoofing equipments to disrupt the flights of drones and airplanes. So either the Ethiopian airline flight could not land at the airport because of the disruption of communications, or there was some other unscheduled flight at the airport. What I have learned is that another flight landed at Asosa airport today. Cargo flight. It came from Chad. The N'Djamena is the city from where the flight took off. It landed in Asosa. Immediately after, the Ethiopian airline flight failed to land at the airport. So maybe because of that flight coming from Chad, which landed in Asosa, the Ethiopian airline flight could not land. You know, these flights from Chad to Asosa are linked to UAE's support for RSF. UAE is providing logistical support to RSF fighters in Benishangul Gumuz region through these flights, which take off from different countries, especially from Chad. They land in Asosa, sometimes they land in Bahir Dar, sometimes they land in Addis Ababa. And these are cargo flights basically which carry logistical support for RSF fighters. So it seems that there was a problem at the airport, I think, Asosa airport, or because of the coming flight from Chad, the Ethiopian flight could not land. But we'll dig out more if we can find more information. We'll share updates with you. Secondly, viewers, a Tigray military-backed armed group is making gains in the Amhara region. Agew Democratic Movement is the name of this group. ADM. Agew fighters during 2-year-long Tigray war fought alongside Tigray fighters against Ethiopian federal forces against Fano fighters. Agews have long been struggling. They live in mostly Amhara region. They want a separate regional state. In the past, TPLF was accused of backing Agews and Kemets. And during Tigray war, we saw clashes between Agews and Amharas, between Kemets and Amharas. And when Fano took up arms in 2023 against federal government and regional government, the Ethiopian federal government raised Agew militias against Fano fighters. And Agew zone was the last zone where Fano managed to get a foothold. It was difficult in the starting phase of Fano struggle to even enter Agew zone because Agew people were united against Amhara Fano. But things have changed now. Now Fano are operating in Agew zone. Now Fano and TPLF are allies. That is why Agews are also Fano's allies. There are two groups of Agews. One group of Agews is on Fano side, TPLF side, Agew Democratic Movement. Then there is other Agew group, which is Pro-Prosperity Party group, which is based in Agew zone of the Amhara region. They are against Fano. The Agew Democratic Movement of fighters, ADM fighters, or Agew Liberation Front fighters, they are mainly fighting in Woreda zone of the Amhara region. They claim that Woreda is Agew. And in April, Agew Democratic Movement fighters started incursions into Woreda zone from neighboring Tigray regional state. Obviously, these Agew fighters had the backing of TPLF and Tigray military. I showed you some videos too of these Agew Democratic Movement fighters operating in Woreda zone. Now, what is being reported is that two Woredas in Woreda zone of Amhara region are under ADM control. The Sagbij and Abergele are two Woredas. And here, backed by TDF, these Agew fighters have controlled the two Woredas. People have fled from there towards Sikota. Local administration has fled. Agew fighters largely in control of the two Woredas. Mulugata Kasi is Agew Democratic Movement spokesperson. He confirmed that Agew fighters are operating in Sagbij and Abergele, but he said people are still there in Sagbij and Abergele, no displacements. On the other hand, the Woreda zone administrator denies. He talked to a news source. He said, no, we're in control of the two Woredas. Yes, some displacements are happening. People are being displaced because of some activities of NTV's elements, but what is under government control. You know that in the nearby areas, Ethiopian military is backing TPF. TPF are deployed in Woreda zone on Abergele front. And ENDF will use TPF to launch them into Tigray from Abergele side in case of war. So to counter TPLF, TPF, Tigray military is organizing Agew Democratic Movement fighters. ADM fighters are operating in the Sagbij, Abergele, and they are operating close to the road from Koram to Sikota. A few weeks ago, they captured a small town there. I did a video on that. I forgot the name of the town. But Backed by TDF, these Agew fighters are expanding their operations, trying to take control of border areas, Amhara, Tigray border areas. Where is Fano? I think Fano is backing the attacks of Agew fighters. In the past, Fano used to confront Agew fighters. Now Fano and Agew seem to be allies. Just like in the past, Ola used to confront Fano's attacks in Oromia, but now Ola is coordinating with Fano regarding Fano's attacks in Oromia. So alliances are changing. Yesterday's rivals are today's allies. Thanks for watching.